Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Aurora ZX Gaming here, and today I'm going to be going over a pretty good, stealthy, underrated commander setup for American destroyers, if you have it. Um, Everybody knows the Clemson. She's a tier 3 terror as far as destroyer-wise. There's nothing super special about her other than the fact that at tier 3 she has 6 guns for a destroyer. She has 4 turrets, 2 right in the middle right there on that little upper deck portion right there. Um, that can fire on each side, and then she has this back turret back here, which means given on any side you can fire 6 guns essentially because you have two guns per turret, 2 barrels. Um, Everybody knows the Clemson. She's a pretty all around good destroyer. She's got 2 torpedo tubes per side with 2 torpedo launchers per side with 3 tubes each, which a lot of people forget about very often. That was a voice crack. But today is not about the Clemson. The Clemson is a fantastic little ship at Tier 3, and I recommend it's one of the few that I have kept. I personally don't like to keep a whole bunch of ships because they haven't implemented a way of filtering your ships by nation yet. Um, it is coming eventually. It's just a quality of life feature, so it's a little lower on the list. But today I'm going to be going over a very stealthy, underrated commander setup. I am running George Dewey. Now, you have your typical American destroyers, American destroyer captains. You have Arleigh Burke and you have William Halsey, who I just received recently. Um, Arleigh Burke is tailored towards gunning other destroyers down. His stock perk, essentially, when you get him out of the box, is Sure Shot, which is increasing the main battery precision of your destroyer. And then the second one is Quick Fix, which is increasing module defense against HE damage. Steering gear and engine modules remain functional after sustaining critical damage. I ran Arleigh Burke for a while. I liked Arleigh Burke. I liked the fact that you had the Quick Fix feature. Your engine could be knocked out, and you could keep on chugging like it was nothing. Um, I personally would not take flank speed. I would much rather take Look at Me Now, which will reduce that detectability, which gets you closer to stealth launching. You're not going to get to stealth launch, I don't believe so, but you will get closer to launching stealthily. Um, and then the next one I take is 1,000 Cuts, which is reducing destroyer gun reload and reload of secondary battery, which is but glass cannon, I'm not a big fan of glass cannon. Personally, I don't think it is a very good perk. It's got its benefits for sure, but you already have such a small health pool as it is at a destroyer. You really shouldn't be decreasing that even further. Um, so that is why I personally do not take it when I ran Arleigh Burke. And then the next one is Smoke on the Water, which is always nice because Americans have really decent smoke screens. They last a lot longer. Sidestep. Uh, if you really want to increase the range of your destroyer's guns, sidestep could be applicable. However, I do not like the fact that it increases your rudder shift. Um, I personally just much rather take Smoke on the Water. And then I have Raizo Tanaka as my inspiration on him. And then you have Arleigh Burke here, or excuse me, William Halsey, which let me go ahead and get him. How many of those I have? I have 9. Goodness, I need to get some more. Get him upgraded so I can get these perks. So you have I Mean Harm, which is damage caused by AP shells from the destroyer's main guns. I'm not sure how applicable this would be. I have not done a lot of research into William Halsey as far as playing with him as my commander. I just haven't felt the urge to. But American destroyer captains are going to be pretty much geared towards gunning other destroyers down, because that's really what American destroyers are for in the game. That's their niche essentially. Um, so that is what I like about Halsey and the American destroyers. Is that, excuse me, yeah, that's what I meant. Halsey or American destroyers. Goodness gracious, my mind is jumbled together. Um, but That's his first perk. And then the next one is Observant Rage. Reduce main battery reload time of your destroyer and improve torpedo detection at the cost of slower rudder shift. This, in all honesty, is a pretty decent perk. Because contact is imminent, you can make that up with a inspiration, no problem. You can increase your torpedo speed with a inspiration. So I'm going to pick that. I'm not going to run Halsey because I have a good commander skill that I like. And then you have Mortar or Look at Me Now. Look at Me Now, standard perk. That is just cutting your detectability range. Mortar is enhance your destroyer's shell damage at the cost of increased ship visibility. Um, Not a half bad perk. The detectability is not something that it's an equal trade-off with American destroyers because American destroyers can't really stealth launch until you get up into, I believe it is the Fletcher. It might be the Benson. I would have to double check on that, which I can do after this. So Mortar is a pretty decent perk choice because if you're an American destroyer, like I've said multiple times, you're going to be gunning other destroyers down. Twist and track. Increase main battery traverse speed of your destroyer and show the direction of the closest enemy ship. That is a fantastic perk. It is great because it will show a little white half circle on the top of your screen. Maybe not the top of your screen. Around your aiming reticles, essentially, to show you which way is the closest ship. 1,000 cuts, we've already gone over that. And then you have back in stock, which will reduce the reload time of your torpedo tubes. You really shouldn't be picking that. That is what you would pick, in my opinion. You have Cloudy Days, which is reduce engine boost, consumable reload time at the cost of diminished smoke generator capabilities. Do not take this, in my opinion. Take the smoke on the water because American Destroyer smoke is fantastic. You have Unstoppable, which is reduce engine repair time and gain reduced mobility with disabled engines at the highest mastery. And then you have Leviathan, increase maximum HP of your destroyer at the cost of a lower maximum speed. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it would be a pretty decent perk. If you could find ways to make up the loss of the speed, I feel like it would be a fantastic choice. But in all honesty, I'm using Dewey. Now, I have Dewey as a legendary commander, and a lot of people probably also have this. Now, I am running Tanaka to increase my damage, excuse me, and Philip Beyond, because I want to increase the dispersion. It's always nice to increase enemy dispersion coming in. 6 cents, increased torpedo visibility range, not a bad perk. That's pretty good. Plus, as you level him up, that goes up. That's just a standard perk. And then you have Contact is Imminent. That increases your torpedo speed. Then you have Look at Me Now, which decreases your detectability range. You have Back in Stock to reduce your torpedo tubes, and you also have Smoke on the Water. Now, Smoke on the Water with this, the way I have it set up is I have a 1 minute and 55 second, I believe, smoke lasting time, or time, essentially, where I can hide in my smoke screen. You have, I mean, if you really want to be a super vigilant person, you could take this. However, I feel this is a much better perk. Taking the decrease your detectability range. Now here's where if you have a legendary commander Dewey, if you have a legendary Dewey, take fully packed if you want to run him as a destroyer because you get 3 smoke charges and 3 engine boosts, which is really nice because you usually only get 2, which can come in handy at the end of a match. I have found that this is a really good setup. It's nothing flashy, nothing crazy, but it's a really, really good, decent setup to catch people off guard. Now, you could take Will to Rebuild, but that has no point. You don't need to take that. You could take Unstoppable. That's not a bad choice in a destroyer because you're losing the capability of, say, Burke, I believe is his name, which has the ability where if your engine's knocked out, you can keep on chugging, which is a really good perk. Now, if you're a very heavy destroyer player, you could absolutely take Burke or Halsey. That's really up to you. If you play destroyers a lot, those are your two best choices. However, I have found, given my play style and the way that I play, I found that George Dewey is the best commander for me. Um, and then what I can do is I will check on the torpedo capabilities of the Benson. So let's check this out. So torpedoes, you've got range is 6.4, 7 kilometers. You could probably get that down under and actually be able to stealth launch. Um, Matter of fact, let me look at the upgrades. The torpedo, you lose the speed and you lose damage, but you gain 1 second on the reload time. Wow, that is a really awkward trade-off. Interesting. However, I'm not a big destroyer guy. I'll show you guys. I've gotten up to the Farragut, and I'm pretty much close enough to the Mahan, which is pretty decent. I just prefer cruisers and battleships. They are much better suited to my play style. I regularly play battleships. I'm more of a battleship person than I am a cruiser person. But I do get along with cruisers just as well as I do battleships. I'm currently working on grinding the Japanese battleship line. I'm super close to the Nagato. UK, I just started grinding this line. The only thing that I have about the Iron Duke is, man, those turrets need some WD-40. And then, of course, I have the German line, which I skipped all the way to the Hipper. I got to the Nuremberg, and with those turrets being so awful, I was just like, no, 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 no. And I got rid of it. I just sped all the way through to the Hipper. I skipped the York. A little tech tip: if you research all the way through a ship, you don't have to buy it to be able to buy the tier above it. You could just skip all the way through that ship and purchase the top tier ship if you wished. But I am going to go ahead and leave you guys on that. The next video that I am planning on uploading is an actual guide to the Scharnhorst, the gameplay guide, without a food interruption. Because my previous video, my food delivery told me like 45 minutes to an hour, and they were a lot quicker than that, so I got interrupted in the middle of playing my game. So, that is all for today, folks. I am going to leave you guys on that note. This is Aurora ZX Gaming, signing off.